The other discussion, and I'll begin with Senator, you voted for the Ruaraka report, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, and
with pleasure and glee.
Yes, unfortunately, we didn't see a lot of the people who are present at the Senate supporting this. What is the reason?
Again, when a motion of that nature comes to Parliament, the issue of power politics is at play. We represent various dynamics in both Senate and the National Assembly, and we are lobbied differently. For instance, the names of the fellows that were there, you may find that ordinarily they fraternize with certain members of the Senate in terms of the community they come from or parties or affiliation. So this, in its very nature, in reality, may cause somebody to either abdicate or abstain or disappear for convenience. But what I noticed that it was the side of government that was deliberately absent.
Yes, apart from Sakaja.
Apart from Sakaja, yes, who voted.
Even Gideon Moi voted against it.
Yes, yes. Who voted together with those who were supporting the Committee of Public Accounts and Investments. As a person, if you ask me, and those of us who voted, there are certain values that drive us. We have a certain inclination, and we represent counties. I represent a county where the issue of governance is on top of the agenda. There are complaints about things that are going on, and if such a matter was to come to vote before the Senate, it would be absurd or ridiculous for me to abstain or disappear when issues corruption are being discussed in the Senate. So I had to stand my ground. And you did? There were people who lobbied me not to stand my ground, but my ground is firmly pro good governance and anti-corruption.
So you think they did a good job? Moses Kajong did a good job with that?
It was a good job. Yes. You know, when you talk against corruption and you have an opportunity to demonstrate that you can walk the talk, you should be able to walk the talk. As a Senate, we are compelled to demonstrate to Kenyans that we are committed to fighting against corruption. Okay. And we keep on complaining about ESEC. We are complaining about DCI. Right now, we are discussing about some 2 CID officers who helped and some people escape from custody after taking money. We do not have the moral authority to talk about them if ourselves, we cannot stand and be counted on matters corruption. Okay. So even if we are not the judges, we are not the prosecutors, and we are not the jury, but when we must make a statement as a Senate, we make it, and we know we are fallible. If, for instance, those who are mentioned in those reports think that a good job was not done, they should have recourse in court. Yes. But for me, I've discharged my obligation. I've stood firm on this, and I may be wrong, but I must demonstrate that I can walk the talk.
As politicians always say, my conscience is clear. Nerima, I'm very intrigued by the statement that it was deliberate to disappear, not to attend, because they didn't want to take a vote to be seen on what side. Because at the end of the day, media, iliwamulika. These are the guys who voted against, who voted for it, right? So it would have been really bad to see some names on either side, you know, whatever side they were going to vote. So when he says it's very deliberate, does it bother you?
Yes, absolutely. And I agree with Senator in terms when he says it was time for him to walk the talk. Because our president has been talking furiously about how he wants to fight corruption and pushing for even those who have been elected to fight corruption. And I think one of the tools that the Constitution gives us is supposed to be access to our leaders. So when the media shares that information, it's the voters who are supposed to get upset with their leaders and follow up with them. And even though we have replicated some parts of the American Constitution, and it has developed over 200 years, something that they do have access to is with such information, an ordinary citizen can call up their governor, can call up their senator, and actually push for a petition against them and be upset and have people rally behind why they made this particular decision. I think that we need to be realistic with ourselves. We always question whether there's goodwill. We always wonder, is something going to happen? Is something going to be done? And we see all these razzmatazz of people being occasionally arrested for a few days, and then we forget about the story. But we need to actually sit down and realize that there's nothing happening. It's all smoke. And there's nothing happening in front of us in terms of fighting corruption in this country, and the leaders that we have in place are not concerned of fighting corruption for the people of Kenya. And now it's time for citizens to take up the avenues that the Constitution provides to actually follow up with their leaders and hold them accountable. This is where Kenyan people need to organize. And it was interesting to see even on social media how upset people are, and even tweets from senators themselves shocked with the result. Yes. And so I think it was a wake-up call for
It shocked a lot of people. David,
yeah.
Were you shocked how the vote went?
You know, every time a sensitive matter is brought to Parliament or Senate, and when it involves a lot of money, you're going to end up with no-shows deliberately. I wish we could grab these people who do not show up when they ought to be executing or discharging their mandates.
And they're in the country.
And they are in the country.
And in Nairobi.
I wish we could pull the Ukrainian kind of politics on them. Grab them and put them in dustbins and suffocate them with mud. You know, Kenyans must themselves decide to be very angry about wastage, about pilferage, about grafts. Until and unless our countrymen are going to see this as being about them, then even if we left it to the senators, because corruption fights back. I have known that over the years. So sometimes you will find that the people come only too close to achieving what ought to be achieved for country, but fall short. Fall short because other people deliberately decided to create a situation that renders the whole thing null and void. We are at a time when, for the first time in the history of this country, a president has decided to go for the neck of the corrupt. He started by talking and has demonstrated. I saw the CEO of NHIF. I think he released yesterday? I'm not too sure.
Oh, yeah, on bail.
Yeah,
on
he
bail.
was remanded
Yeah,
until yesterday, from Friday.
Yes.
Even before the judiciary can, you know, do its deed, the mere fact that we can see parastatal heads of that stature thrown into remand, arrested, is good enough encouragement. It's not the best, but it's good enough encouragement and show for the younger generation that we have to be a country that appreciates values and abhors anything that is immoral. That there is punishment for what is not right. The Ruaraka land saga, I discussed it here time upon number. And I just hope we finally get to know what really happened.
Okay. I know they're back in court, either late this month, late December, or early next year.
So I thank my senator, because as my leader who I voted for, I would cut his neck if he had not kept his end of the bargain.
You know, Senator, the Senate has been hailed as doing a better job than the National Assembly. And from the top of my mind, I remember the report that was done by Mutula Kilonzo. It will be used in the years to come to show an example of what a good job the Senate can do. Were you disappointed with this?
I was extremely disappointed. I was taken aback by the behavior of the government side. But I think now the climb is steeper for us if we are to redeem our image. As an institution, we need to redeem our image. We need to account to the public for the powers that they have given us and for additional powers that we request from them. We need to justify the earnings that the public give us and actually be grateful to them for the privilege that they allow us to have to be referred to as honorable. So I was deeply disappointed that after such, you know, investigations, deliberations, when the matter came for vote, I was seeing colleagues walking out and pretending to be having urgent matters, only to reappear later when the heat had gone down. Now, the people who may make us disappear or pussyfoot as it is are our leaders. The Jubilee leader and the national leader is Uhuru Kenyatta. He's taken a stand. The NASA leader is Raila Odinga. He's taken a stand. I do not know what was influencing these senators, and I do not know what they were afraid of. In fact, leadership is about courage to make, you know, serious decisions in moments of crisis. And there was nothing intimidating us. There was nobody holding a gun on our head. I think some people are too weak or too cowardly, too cowardly to stand firm on the face of serious decisions when such decisions are to be made.
Okay. Now, I think we have concluded on that matter. Unless any of you have something to say about it, I need to go to the next topic because I see Cecily Mbarire is already up and speaking somewhere, so we might be told to take her as she speaks. But I want to go to the other topic, unless you have something to do with this, because it's already gone through Senate. When is it supposed to come back? Can they reintroduce it? What happened?
Well, only after 6 months.
Okay.
But from the look of things, this is not the end of this matter.
Okay.
Senate, as an organization, was supposed to express itself very clearly on matters corruption and matters Ruaraka.
All right.
But I believe other institutions like ESEC, like DCI, like the presidency, the attorney general, and the courts will do their bit of job.
Right.
But we have lost an opportunity as a Senate to stand tall and say,
and
we are fighting.
This would have also
corruption.
been defining
Yes.
for the Senate. All right.